everyone, my name is Mitz, and here we are with a new installment of Higurashi When They Cry. So probably what's this whole chapter is going to be, honestly, this whole scenario, is probably just from the looks of this title screen, and the fact that the face of this game on Steam is the latest, Sadako, once again. This might be paralleling, again, chapter 3, honestly, with, since we skipped past, the first answer arc was really talking about the second chapter, and the last one was all like mirroring the first. This seems just right up the alley. I don't think the next installment is gonna actually parallel chapter 4, honestly, with Rika like telling Akasaka about everything that happened in the past. Honestly, it's most likely that just this installment is literally just gonna show off, I guess, maybe most of all the answers, and the next one is gonna be about a better ending. I guess that's literally what my final answer is right now, unless things actually change around here, which they tend to always do. They tend to always do, at least along with times of what little tidbits they gave about. So this is gonna be quite interesting. Quite interesting. I'm wondering if it's gonna be how it's gonna parallel, honestly. At least give some answers. Oh, holy crow, that is. Oh. Hinagoroshi, the final truth. Massacre chapter. The story introduces the unit inside and out, using all the actors. This is no longer a story, it's a public autopsy for all to join. As they say, after loving someone, cut up their belly and eat their organs, it's the same with stories. The difficulty is quite mild, well suited for those with pride. I don't have any. I don't have any at all. But it's all the actors, so pretty much everyone is now involved. Wait, all the actors. Since we didn't meet that one mysterious girl before, then she's now gonna be here. Okay then. The person who's talking to Rika in the tips, then. Okay then. The sound of it it will actually just analyze the entirety of the story. Okay. There's a lot of better production value from the sound of it. What are you doing? I don't see you playing by yourself that often. All you could do before was none to my questions. Was when do you have your own will? Since now, sucker sucker punches the speaker. God damn it. I'm glad. I finally have a sister or brother. Whichever you are. I used to be an existence of nothingness, just like you. But one day, I began to have my own identity, my own thoughts, and eventually my own body. So it's not a surprise to see you in a possession of your own will. Welcome to this vast yet tiny world, my sister. You might be my brother, but let me call you my sister until I know for sure. This is an endless, eternal, and infinite world. But that doesn't mean it's boundlessly vast. I suppose you could describe it like a ring with a small diameter. While the ring is an eternal, endlessly looping world, that doesn't mean it contains infinite space. Yes, in short, this world is eternally sealed. The future is supposed to be an infinite weave of countless choices. Yet for whatever reason, our world always ends in death. If I were to compare it to something, perhaps a maze of fate would be appropriate. Looping through the same moments forever steadily grows harder and more dejecting, eventually producing something like me. And as that draws further on, even one like you is born. Eventually this world may be filled with your sisters too. After that, we'll build a colony inside of it, and once we lose interest in this maze, Rika Furude will disappear from this world. It looks like you still cling to this narrow world, Rika. Though I lost interest long ago. Which is why I'm truly glad you were born for me to talk to. So, what are you doing? Just drinking some juice. Wow, oh my good god, okay, they really upped the ante then. Okay, holy shit. Are you collecting fragments of memory? There's only 5 or 6 of them right now. It must still be fun for you, though. There used to be more fragments long ago, but one by one they disappeared into the darkness. Now, these are the ones that remain clear. Oh, that's not how you're supposed to use it. See? Try and hold up to the light. You're using the Rubik's Cube wrong. Give me a try. All of that is a life for Rika Furude and its end. That one is... Oh. I remember that one. I'm assuming these are actually all for the different scenarios, installments then? I'm trying to look for the background. Well, they pretty much almost always use the same exact similar background, so... Oh, that's a baseball field. It's most likely the 3rd chapter. And that's the world when Keiichi was cursed. Okay, you look at that. I called it right. Look at that. Those fragments are like books to me. So tell that one the Onikakushi chapter. Oh, okay, fuck. I saw a baseball field in the background, but I thought so. Keiichi never went to a baseball field in the first installment. I was lied to. Do you remember what happened in that one? Good. We're not gonna go back if you forgot anything. That makes things easier. Hello. In Onikakushi, Keiichi Maebara was consumed by the darkness. He couldn't accept the kind words his friends offered him, and eventually beat them to death, not knowing their kindness. Nice. We were all killed after that anyway. All, okay, yep. So pretty much I'm either just from the gas or like someone else came along and just cut Rika open. That had nothing to do with this story though. It's completely separate. That fragment is the Watanagashi chapter. Shion Tsunazaki was cursed in that one. She killed many people out of revenge for her boyfriend's disappearance, as he went missing in 1982. Rika worked so hard, but she was captured at the end and was tortured to death. That's why she chose to commit suicide in the Miyakashi chapter, because things were going to turn out the same way anyway. That fragment over there is called the Tatori Goroshi chapter. Oh yeah, now he gets a fucking sprite here, not in the 3rd chapter, honestly. Even though from the looks of it, they had all the background art and even the sprite material from all him, okay. Sadako's uncle came back and locked her up inside her house. That was the worst world of all. I mean, yeah, like, even honestly, like, that just made, basically, instead of, I guess, maybe something quick or easy, like, or, like, they had the hope of, maybe turning, Keiichi around or anything like that. I guess, like, there's a small thing of, like, what's happened with Mia in the 2nd chapter. No, now you're just seeing someone really just, you know, go through something horrible and you can't really do anything about it. Like, honestly, like, I know, like, that's what, like, Ryukushi's 07's, like, talking about in the last, like, staff room, talking about, you should talk to someone to help out, but, the sound of it, like, if he was also, like, what was it? He was also, like, a childcare worker, and if that one, the whole situation is actually very common, my first question is, then, exactly, what do you do? If even the people who you're supposed to call for help doesn't work? Like, of course, the whole entire story is dramatized, so, it has a bunch of interweaving parts and, like, you know, dramatic stuff. So, like, accentuate the whole tragedy of it all. But, like, what do you even do then if, like, that's more, like, it seems that's a more common scenario for some people in the world. You can't really bring it up and talk to someone about it in that way. Even the whole police thing, honestly, too, and the whole game. Yeah, since almost everyone hates the police because of what happened in the past, the damn product which is still fresh in everyone's minds, 5 years still going on, yay. None of your friends or even the adults around you won't help. Like, I just like how, like, that's literally how Ryukushi brought it up, which is talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your teacher, and yet literally Sadako was in that exact same situation. She couldn't do any of that. And if she did, it wasn't gonna help at all. It's all just gonna be another wait and see approach. Oh boy. Which is kind of even worse. And again, the bath scenario. Don't even need to bring that up again. That was the worst world of them all. There's nothing Rika was able to do in that world. Yeah, the whole theme for that was just literally powerlessness. Whenever Sadako's uncle comes back, Rika usually just gives up on that world. Fortunately, Sadako's uncle doesn't come back that frequently. So basically the sound of it, Rika can't either, like, find out what causes his uncle to come back, or literally, for some weird thing after each loop of this whole entire curse, honestly, that, the uncle just comes back on his own volition anyway for some fucking reason. Which, it's actually even worse. I mean, what was it? There was those whole tips in the 4th installment all about that, just waiting to see if things go differently. Just one thing or another. Just the whole, the first thing comes to mind is the whole butterfly effect thing, just what they do differently. So, yeah, you took a step in the wrong direction there in the path there. You took one step down to the wrong pathway. You just basically dug your own grave there, old sister. That one is called the Sumihoroboshi chapter. Rika was just there just a little moment ago. Hi. Reina Ryugu was possessed in that world. It was pretty exciting to see her take over the whole school. Yes, I'll give you that much. And I actually did go back and actually personally witness some, I guess, the dead ends, honestly. Again, like, what was it? The one where the first choice you can make there with Keiichi, like, actually going after him, like, Chi-sensei to actually talk to, to Reina, actually. Like, even though it had some similar dialogue with the police, trying to talk Reina down, but Keiichi wasn't there, so he can't help out at all. Same dialogue. How it ends is very different with the whole entire fucking school going exploding. Like, I can see that choice being justified to be included in the game. But the next one, which is literally just Sadako, do you understand yet? Sadako, we don't have time. Tell us now. Literally just is the way of it's literally just the one thing Keiichi says that so Sadako knows where to get the timer off of or not. Literally just that one thing, and if he chose badly, it just ends right there shortly. There's no reason why it should be there anyway. I don't even know why it's there. There's a few choices like that in these games from the side of it, so. It was pretty exciting to see her take over the whole school. It surprised me to learn that Keiichi Maebara had a memory of the other worlds, just like we do. It was pretty amazing. But then again, most of us have some kind of memory like that. Like me. Now, technically, doesn't mean we're the narrator of this is literally just that mysterious girl that Rika talked to, and was, I guess, like, hinted at when the tip with Keiichi's dad, like scoping out the entire town and, like, you know, moving here then. We all have an imaginary world within us, some idea of what would have happened if you did things differently. Yeah. It's like the strange feeling you get when you do something for the first time, but it feels like you've done before. Still, I love this little background, the crystals, oh my god. Everyone has a memory of an imaginary world in their mind. The memory is not always that clear. Not crystal clear like here, so, It's not surprising, really. You are special not to be able to see those fragments of the memory. It's probably very difficult for you to understand how special you really are. You were born into a world where it's a natural thing for you to see these fragments. I was originally born in a normal world. I didn't know until recently that I could collect these fragments of memory. It's the new fucking superpower for the whole entire universe. Oh my good god, look at that. You grabbed those fragments just because you could, but I didn't know how to do it for a long time. It's a superpower you must learn, cherish, harness. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're not interested in hearing my story. No, I want to. Huh? What's wrong? What are you curious about? Oh. You're curious as to why so many different incidents occur in the same world? It's very interesting, isn't it? Why do you think that's the case? Because there's always one factor which cannot be changed, apparently, from the sound of it. Someone who's so determined to do their own goal, then? Let's think about it together, then. Thinking's the first step towards playing a game. But life isn't a game, though. The main character among Rika's group of friends is Keiichi Maebara, not Rika herself? Wow, golly gee. My god, this is slander. In Onikakushi, he is possessed by suspicion and killed Reina Ryugu and Mian Sonozaki. If that was a inevitable event, he would be killing him in every world. Yeah, there's a one-up incident. In other words, what Keiichi Maebara did in Onikakushi was not inevitable. Indeed. The only thing that's inevitable is Keiichi Maebara's role. And exactly, pray tell, what is his role here? It's just observer role. If Keiichi Maebara was someone with a naturally suspicious heart, he would take the same actions in every world. But that didn't happen. It's true that Keiichi Maebara is both passionate and easily convinced of anything. Easily convinced, so. But it's rare for him to exhibit the kind of rage he displayed in Onikakushi. In other words, even though something might seem inevitable in one world, that may not be the case to compare it to a different one. I mean, yeah, the whole Shion debacle, the curse thing didn't happen multiple times either. She came out to be mostly just normal in the other chapters. Even it's implied, I guess. Well, either it's implied or not, whether Keiichi actually met Shion in the first installment, or like they did, and like it just wasn't important to what's happening overall. Honestly, they just left out. And Shion was just pretty much just normal, pretty much the third chapter, just like just admonishing Keiichi for saying he transferred out. I can't believe it. Satoshi did not transfer out, you pig. This thing really is inevitable. It will happen for sure in every life. That's what true inevitability is like. Yeah, and Rika always dies no matter what, so... It's very important you know that. When you compare the different worlds, what's common among all of them is the truth. Understand? Like I said, what seems inevitable in one life could just be a random event in another. The club activities that me and Sonozaki suggest are a good example. If me and Sonozaki had a strong inclination toward playing certain games, you would be playing them in every world. In reality, you participate in different activities in most of them. It means the games they play in the club are randomly decided by me and Sonozaki. It's a fucking Schrodinger's cat thing again. We know that now because we've been through many different lives. Those who only live in one world can't see the event in question as inevitable or random. Those who only live once can't predict what's going on in me and Sonozaki's mind. But we can. Just to give a whole psychiatric report down. Although the activities are random, me and Sonozaki calls us together for the club meeting almost every day in every life. Us? I can see that me and Sonozaki hold a strong will towards having the club meeting. Me and Sonozaki always wants to play with the other club members, but she doesn't know what to play. See? We can read me and Sonozaki's mind just by simply examining these fragments. With these alone, we can see part of who me and Sonozaki really is. Very indecisive until the moment calls for it. Let me talk a bit more about Keiichi Maebara. For those who only live once, the world of the Onikakushi chapter is nothing but a story where Keiichi suffered mysterious hallucinations that beat his friends to death. For them, there's nothing beyond that fact. We, however, can compare different fragments and find out something they could never see. As a result, we know that the murder of his friends is not inevitable. I told you that just earlier. In fact, while there are about 5 or 6 pieces in front of you, he only kills his friends in one of them. Does that technically mean, if, him killing his friends is inevitable, does that mean, or just, any kill in general, this kind of world, it was always just inevitable? Does that mean, that person is indefinitely bad, or just, no matter what, the factors that go to it were just inevitable to make them actually feel like they should kill someone? Doesn't know if that makes the person bad anyway, if it's always inevitable. That means we can roughly conclude the possibility that Keiichi Maebara triggers a tragedy is less than 20%. It's almost a fluke. This means that amongst the countless worlds, Keiichi Maebara causing the tragedy is an unimportant factor. Yeah, pretty much no one in the group technically has that, I guess, influence from the looks of it. Now, can you find the common thread to be drawn from here? My, you found it already? No wonder you're born in this world. I'm born in fucking darkness repeatedly. You're quick to learn a knack for playing with building blocks. I didn't figure that out for a while. I was born in the normal world, so I can only see things from a single world's perspective. I was too obsessed with the fact that Keiichi Maebara caused the tragedy, so I had trouble finding it. Right. That's exactly right. You see it? Onikakushi, Wonto Nagashi, Miyakashi, and Sumi Horoboshi chapters all have something in common. Someone in the group becomes violent because of dark and paranoid thoughts. Yeah, basically, pretty much. And technically, 2 of those are technically cheating because we see both different sides of it, honestly. So, they're technically the same chapter, but, one has more backstory. In each world, either Keiichi Maebara, Shion Sonozaki, or Reina Ryugu became violent as their delusions grew stronger. You're basically now just making it sound like the outsiders of the blame here. Keiichi Maebara, Shion Tsunozaki, and Reina Ryugu are all my close friends, but they are all born and raised differently. Oh, you can say that again. The only common factor is that they all live in Hinamizawa. I just said it not too long ago, though. When we peer through these fragments of multiple worlds, the constant phenomenon become our facts, and the chance phenomena hold little meaning. In other words, the unrelated, individual culprits are not that all important, pretty much. To go further, the violence of the crimes also bears no meaning. It only just bears meaning to themselves, honestly, not to the overlarge story, anyway. Keiichi Maebara beat his friends to death with a cursed fucking metal bat. Literally just gives the bad vibes anyone who touches it. Shion Tsunozaki killed the central people of the three families with the torture devices in the underground storeroom. And Reina Ryugu took over the school with a hatchet, signature weapon. Everyone has their signature weapon, honestly. Just like Jason Voorhees, the goddamn machete. Everyone has their signature weapons now. They were all different. There's nothing in common there. In fact, the very, very important truth is that while the culprit and the crimes are decided at random, their process of growing paranoid until they resort to violence is always constant. The suspect changes every time. The process does not. To comparing the different worlds, this is the truth I found. The real villain among all this is the paranoia! This is the one truth that is common to all the worlds at Hinamizawa. The rule is that a random person becomes violent under the influence of paranoid thoughts. This is Rule X, a constant paranoia. Keiichi Maebara, Shion Tsunozaki, and Reina Ryugu. So, there's no entire constant of, there's no, I guess... Honestly, I can't think of anything that, like, of what they did similarly, like, in their own chapters that made them, like, slightly go paranoid, besides, just the general factors in their own life. If there was, like, there's some uniting factor, like a drug and stuff like that, like, they all had in common, then it's, like, very subtle and obscured by, their own, I guess, delusions, I guess. So, Pieces with no particular connection have the potential to succumb to that rule with random probability. Makes it even weirder since, Shion technically is a person who lives right outside town, honestly, and Keiichi and Reina, like, from the sound of it, don't exactly haven't had any moments that like, cause a random shit or anything like that. At least very obviously. So it just kind of happened. I don't know what the probability is that those pieces will be ensnared by that rule. Perhaps there is some rule to that too. Just add an addendum to that rule then. A rule for a rule. Is it because these three are all close in age? Or is it because they all live in Hinamizawa? Well, we're not detectives or police officers. This is something not a small girl like us, Rika Furude, can easily figure out. At least we know now that there's a mysterious rule in the world of Hinamizawa. People only live in one world have no way of knowing that. So basically the whole town is saying that either you go crazy or we'll kill everyone. And if you do go crazy, we'll kill everyone anyway. We want the satisfaction of tragedy. Oh boy. Oh yeah, actually I should bring this up now that I'm not gonna do it now, obviously, because of spoilers and all that, but I'm now just, like, wondering, like, I want to watch several video essays, like, after I finish the last installment, just to, talk about the series more, honestly. I already got one video essay on in mind. I'm, thinking about, someone comparing him as, like, the Higurashi When They Cry series, comparing it to Greek tragedies, which that's on my watch list now. I'm just gonna watch that by the end of it, and just, like, just talk more about it when the credits roll for the 8th installment. Be very interesting to see, so, honestly. If y'all have actually found any good video essays talking about that, I'd leave it in the comments below, honestly. I would love to see that and actually talk about it more. It'd be great. People only live in one world, have no way of knowing that. I'm proud of myself for figuring that out. I guess for you, it's not particularly surprising, though. What'd you say? Oh, that's right. This thing is common among all worlds. That means it's fated to happen, and fate and destiny are fucking bullshit. Some events quickly come to mind, don't they? Right. Gyuto Mataki and Mio Takano are always killing those worlds. Although, literally just from what There's still the one difference in the first installment where Mio like is missing and not dead, or she's dead but is still missing. So on top of that, they are murdered in exactly the same way in every world. Are you sure about that? Did the news just break out before everyone got gassed to death in the first installment? In other words, unlike our previous rule with this variability, their murders are thoroughly planned out by someone with a strong will. So that does not fit with the mysterious, vague Rule X that leads a random individual into violence. After all, they are always murdered, regardless of who falls to Rule X. Technically, that means if you're stubborn, have a strong will, and apparently in this whole universe, and do the same things repeatedly over and over. The only way to influence anything to happen is to target people who are more laid back and go with the flow. Then apparently. Therefore, there's another rule to these worlds, a rule that says Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano will get killed in the night of Watanagashi. Let's call it Rule Y. I want to know about Rule Z now. Don't you see how funny this is? Oh yeah, it's actually very. Laughing at tragedies actually is kind of funny. Why do you think they're called comedies back in the day? Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano are killed in every world, right? Every time, a character who gets cursed always thinks that their deaths have something to do with the dangers awaiting them. The fact that someone turns violent, Rule X, and Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano's deaths, Rule Y, are supposed to be two independent variables, but they all tend to link them together. And from the sound of it, if it was tied to them, I guess as well, probably just be Tomataki who got attached to it as well, and died the same night too. But there was no, I could say there was nothing showcasing he was growing more paranoid. All that, That's what we can, at least we can tell, honestly. And Mio just took his bike and was like, I'm just gonna take this out to the dumpster out of town. Don't worry, I won't go missing or die in the woods. I'm just gonna throw away this bike and get caught by strangers and get strangled to death, apparently, and burned. Oh yay. Of course, one could say that's how they became snared in the spell of paranoia leading them to violence to begin with. But do you think, in their paranoia, they notice someone is trying to lead them to link those rules together? Yes. Where the piece leading them is, they are the one making the stage called Hinamizawa very complicated. You should notice at least two suspicious people. Do you know who I'm talking about? Trying to think if I guess two people in here, but Kochiri's every one of them. That's right. Well, there's that too, I guess. There's also even though it just seems like there's something going on with him with the painkillers, honestly, in the suicide attempt there, which is all that. Referring to Kurata Oishi and Mio Takano. I mean, he's the one that instigates some people to go paranoid. Mio Takano in any way always gives him I guess the wherewithal to always make everyone grow paranoid, or at least fester in it. And Oishi just gives information that makes things worse. When compare previous fragments, the role of the piece known as Kurata Oishi becomes clear. He's a detective who is retired this year. He's in a hurry to solve the mystery of the series of he's in a hurry to solve the mystery of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. As he retires, he has to move away from the village. That's why he's desperate to solve this case before he has to leave Hinamizawa. Why is he so obsessed with the serial murders in Hinamizawa? That's right. Because the first murder involving the manager of the construction site. Is this whole first beginning actually just this is literally just wait, this is not even literally this is not even a story, it's literally just an autopsy of literally just analyzing pretty much every other story, honestly. Is that what this is? It was literally being literal. Each and every single hour-long episode, just dissecting the smaller details of every single thing. Okay, then. I like video essays. I already said that before. I'm with it. The victim was Oishi's close friend. You'll see that if you look at the Himatsubushi chapter. Oishi was there when the dam conflict was at its peak. He saw the Sonozaki family took control of the Onigifuchi Guardians, and he believed that the Sonozaki family was pulling the string behind the whole incident. And again, I mean, it's not I think it's kind of their fault that they kind of act like it's all their fault anyway, with how they word things and like that. It's not in the case of being a martyr or anything like that. It's not even just that of being a martyr just to make things better. It's They just take control and just like say it was them just to have like extra face and make sure like they give more power on it to them. It's not anything like that. So yeah, that's probably definitely the reason. Probably was more hard on me on the first two installments. Honestly, since that sound of it. You know, we only learn about I think the Yakuza stuff in the second installment. So that's why I always suspected that the Sonosuke family was behind a series of mysterious deaths, regardless of the evidence or lack thereof. He was suffering his own fucking delusions. His personal biased belief, combined with his credibility as a police detective, affected the pitiable victims of persecution complexes in each world. As a result, the pitiful victims of Rule X can't accept the Sonosuke family as the identity of the unknown force their paranoia seeks. There's also the whole thing of Shion technically also taking over the role of Mion, honestly making that things doubly more complicated. So there's that. Look at that. Shion Sonosuke's case is the most conspicuous one that matter. So yes, at this piece, Oishi didn't interfere, that perhaps the victims of Rule X would never resort to such violence. So the role his piece plays is to indirectly cause the tragedy. I don't know who named him this, but Oyashiro-sama Servant is the perfect nickname for Oishi. Yeah, there was even like some people in the village also he was like the omen of bad luck and around in the area. He's like a just I guess you just like personify him as a black cat crossing everyone's path apparently, but those cats are adorable, okay? Don't give him that bad name. The other suspicious person is Mio Takano. One would assume that the only role of her piece is to amuse herself with research into Onigafuti's dreadful history, and take pleasure in scaring others with those tales. However, just like Oishi, she also gives them the idea that the Sonosuke family is behind the mysterious incidents that happen in the village. It's fucking propaganda. She interfered the most with Reina Ryugu. Yeah, that's just the weirdest one of all, honestly. For Mio Takano, Reina Ryugu was the perfect prey, grasping at straws to try and identify the force she suspected. Ironically, however, Mio Takano always ends up getting killed at the end. If she had survived and seen Reina take over the school, she would have laughed long and loud. To be honest, I probably would. I can honestly see her doing that. Now, have you realized that these two pieces and the roles they fulfill have their own rule too? They talk about the Sonosuke family, and listeners always believe them. This is Rule Z, and what a humorous role it is. You should already have an answer to this mystery in your fragments on hand. The fact is the Sonosuke family have always acted as if they are responsible, no matter if they are or not. Which yeah, I don't, but I still kind of blame them for that. It's all their fault, honestly. Like, I usually, like, the second, like, anyone feels like they're turning to a martyr, honestly, I can clock it almost instantly, but when it comes to, like, someone who's trying to actually, act and, like, get more power and villainy, I tend to block my mind out of that. I guess it's the whole thing of, large-scale conspiracy stuff, honestly. That's a common trope in those, and yeah, thinking about it, that's probably another reason why I don't purely just like it, unless only just fun for, like, those villains to be, like, one note. Because it was only just for power and nothing else, nothing personally at stake and anything like that, I just tend to overwrite them in my brain. Like, instantly gloss over them, honestly. And from what little we've seen of, like, me and all that, it just seems like there was that whole thing from, she always wants to be, the person who comes out on top, and, plays things on the seat of her pants, honestly. The whole games and everything like that, yeah, until, it was pretty much just, outlined, and it wasn't her entirely in Miyakashi, so yeah. I'm still a tiny bit blaming her still, though. They always pretend to be the villains in order to make sure that people continue to fear them. As a result, the villagers have believed that the Sonosuke family has been pulling the strings ever since the Daeon conflict ended. Yeah, I still remember, like, that was even they even, like, literally they cut shots to Oreo in Miyakachi's chapter when the aunt was killed, and she literally just makes it sound like she was involved with it, even though she has absolutely no idea what the hell was going on. And it kind of made things around them even worse because of it. So these people advocating that Sonosuke family is the one at fault, and then they're acting like they are at fault. So yeah, it's kind of their fault. Kuraido Oishi and Mio Takano were simply fooled by that rule. Actually, the whole village is fooled by it. Still, the more I think about it, the stranger the series' mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa seems to me. Do you know why? Nearly all the fragments of memories we have here are from 1983. So I have no idea about the incidents from 1980 and 1982. I mean, there's technically the whole thing of Miyakashi's whole thing the year before, but you know. But it's likely that interpreting these murders as serial is simply a result of falling victim to Rule Z, believing that the Sozaki families pulling the strings behind everything. Serial, but like, I can totally buy the whole thing of like each murder or like, you know, mysterious death. The series of mysterious deaths, I'll say that every single time. For each year, it could be like from a different person together. But it has to just be orchestrated in some way, honestly. It's just the same day over and over again every year. It's too weird, it's too coincidental. It's literally it's too coincidental. In short, they may be trying to conflate these multiple crimes, which each happen for different reasons, into one big case. Well, I had no way of discerning the truth from the fragments here, so perhaps something lies in one of them. Each case was supposed to have been solved individually, after all. Well, that's the police's way how to handle it. We don't know if that theory is sound or irrational, but it might surprisingly be an element we can't ignore. Basically. That reminds me, Shion said something intriguing in the Miyakashi chapter. That curse system she came up with, it was actually kind of a cool idea to think about. Do you remember that? Her theory was that the villagers believed that they were allowed to kill an enemy in the village in the night of Watanagashi, the name of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I don't know how much to believe it, though, honestly. Like, it sounds plausible, but it's actually one of those things, I actually think about it, like, I don't know how to, like, think about it, honestly. It sounds immensely possible, but usually my gut just swings one way or the other. But for that, just, like, dead in the middle. I don't know how to think about it. I just don't know how. And that this foundation of murder is allowed on the night alone is the true identity of the curse. Since most of the fragments here are from 1983, there's nothing to back the validity of Shion's theory, but there are still interesting things about it. In other words, her theory is the suspect is not the one who's committed the crime. It's the environment that's causing the murder. Yeah, that's actually, I think that's actually what, yeah, the whole idea, honestly, that I bring up before. People in a single world tend to analyze a criminal's life to determine the process that led them to crime, but her idea is different. The real crime is committed not by the criminals, but by the environment. In other words, it may only be happenstance that Robert A committed the crime. The environment and property may have created Robert B instead, or perhaps even Robert C. Now, I remember thinking about that even before, like, even when before I took I guess a criminal, like a psychology course for college. Literally, I already had that idea in my head, honestly, I just like the whole, like, just take the whole nature-nurture thing, but to their extremes, honestly. So it's, I guess, a combination of, I guess, their nature, or, like, how they're born, and also, most probably likely from their environment that I guess either, like, criminals, like, get to that way, honestly. Well, just because even if for example, even if someone is nice, honestly, on the surface, honestly, and the environment becomes that so much stressful, they feel they had to, because it's a big extreme they had to overtake, that can lead to a crime happening, or, like, the situation gets too dire, and then, for someone who's, I guess, more a bit untrustworthy and willing to, like, listen to, like, I guess, other people, stuff like that, the environment comes down onto it, they'll probably be more likely to do it because of, how distrustful they are, honestly. Well, just because their environment or, like, their past experiences, honestly, made them distrustful is a different matter entirely, or just they're just antisocial towards other people, honestly. In other words, it may only be happenstance that Robert A committed the crime. The environment and poverty may have created Robert B instead, perhaps even Robert C. It may not even be a criminal in another world. Therefore, the real criminal is not A, but the environment that creates A, B, or C. So, how do you exactly purge the environment? How do we purge the bad vibes in the air? Literally just exercise the vibes from the metal baseball bat and the rest of the town? And well, while most people in a single world may be able to reach such an idea, the widespread desire to place blame commonly causes A to be lynched by society, while the environment that gave rise to A goes ignored. Oh yeah, literally, I just watched fucking, like a trilogy of movies which are pretty much almost all about that, honestly. Fear Street, that's a good trilogy of like horror movies. My God, it actually talks about that as well. It felt weirdly how in place it was in the time I watched it with this game. Did I confuse you? I'm sorry. Perhaps the example was actually harder to understand for you. It's easy for me to see it like that because I'm from the normal world. With your fucking normal common sense, I see how you are doing your fucking being condescending. I will not take this. Let me make it simple for you. The culprit behind the tragedy in many worlds isn't individuals like Keiichi Maebara, Shino Tsunazaki, but the environment. So, Rule X is the true culprit of fault. Pretty much that's how it always led to. It's really just mass hysteria. Like, just how I just came to the conclusion of so far, honestly. Unless things change even further and there actually is one person who has the strongest will of all, who's completely fucking stubborn and wants to kill no matter what, then it's their fault. But I don't think we've met anyone so far who is that completely stubborn. And everyone who we technically talked to, like, so far here, like, Oishi, for example, who's very stubborn, only does that in, like, the last area, like, the last year here, and I completely doubt he's behind anything else. Yeah. You're earning good marks if you can grasp that, even if you don't know the identity of Rule X. If you grasp the 3 rules governing the stage called Hinamizawa Rules X, Y, and Z, then you're earning very good marks. Well, I don't know, since I don't know if I'm getting graded for this, but hopefully I get a B or a C, please. Oh, shit. Thank you, Pop Filter. So long as you understand these rules, then even if this is your first experienced world, you should easily find the truth without distraction. Yeah, noise, sorry. See? Isn't it fun? Merely 3 simple rules are interacting on the stage, creating a kaleidoscope of different worlds. No, okay, look with the crystals. Okay, I see what you did there. This is probably a very unusual case. Oh yeah, you're telling me. Like, this is all just a bunch of, like, vague circumstances which I'm, based on the backstory of the town, all clustered to this big, almost, like, very coincidental series of events of making the environment with so many different factors involved. But oh boy, like with the whole thing with the town, the dam project itself from outside forces, yeah, it's dramatized, but I wonder how it would be for like a normal town, like that still has like all this stuff, but it comes to normal means. In other locations, you couldn't be able to see such extreme variation even after looping through several worlds. It keeps me entertained just staying here and watching these worlds revolve. Anyway, there's one more fact we can understand from these fragments of worlds. This is the biggest problem we Rika Furudes are facing. Wait, we Rika Furudes? Oh my good god, what the hell? The fact that Rika Furude always dies each time. Wait, Rika Furude. Wait, you're talking this to another Rika Furude who's almost to be born yet, and there's a variable that they turn into you're turned into a boy then instead. Oh my good god, that's interesting to see actually. It's as if June 1983 is a dead end for her. Worse, there's no randomness to it. It's guaranteed to happen. Yeah, pretty much every time. In other words, it's the same pattern as the deaths of Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano. It's from the same rule. Rule Y. But does she know who caused it? Or is it different people all the time, but for some reason, it's always the exact same day anyway? Tomataki Jiro and Takano Mio are always murdered the night of Wanta Nagashi. Furude Rika's date of death, I don't know why we're recently swapped the names around right now. Her date of death is not always the same, but she's always dead by the middle of June. Jiro Tomataki and Mio Takano, okay, we're back to switching around again, are probably attacked on their way home. That's why it happens in the same night. But for Rika Furude, it's different. She takes different actions every world, and her lifestyle is very unpredictable. For that reason, the day of her death is not always the same. However, she always dies in June, because a similar powerful conviction vows to kill her too. So, can we assume that the same rule Y killing them is also the rule behind her death? Is the same person killing all 3 of them? I don't know if it's the same person, but it's highly likely the same rules at work. Yeah, it's probably not even the same culprit, I was already thinking, but there might be the same person for some of them, but not all of them. There's just like 3 culprits like waiting in standby, and if Rika does this, I'll kill you. If Rika does that, I'll kill you. If Rika stays at home. Well, I'll break into your house and kill you there. Oh my good god. Is it the same person? Or the same organization? Is it the same views? The same goals? Rika's most important goal is to escape her deadly fate. But doesn't mean that she just wants to leave the village and survive. She wants to live happily in the village. All her friends will also be happy too. That's Rika's happy future. The ideal future she hopes for. You know, like, even then, like, she said, like, a few times, she gives up on worlds, and, like, doesn't, when that has come into play. Like, even every time, like, Rika, like, I guess, quote-unquote, maybe, like, drops the act, I guess, of, like, you know, pretending that she doesn't know anything is happening so far around her, she always, like, then goes to, I'll make sure you're fine with what happened with, telling Keiichi in the second installment, honestly. And probably the ones where, she just sits down and does nothing, are the ones, like, she definitely gives up on. Like, we don't even, we pretty much, like, stop hearing from her from, the third installment after a bit. And, like, besides, like, you don't know, her telling, like, Keiichi what, like, I guess, framing of what's happening. Besides that, she just immediately put in the background again, until, she's found dead then again anyway. It's tragic that we can't realize such a simple desire no matter how many times we repeat this. Though, it's a tragedy we were only able to perceive, because we're beings capable of comparing the fragments from different worlds. By the way, I have some interesting information. New information? Oh? Rika is almost always killed by Rule Y. Have you noticed that she's killed by Rule X in some worlds? Yeah, basically. Right. Happened in the Higurashi and the Mitzchievous chapters. Rika Furude committed suicide. You could say she was more or less killed by Rule X via Shion Tsunozaki in those worlds. In other words, this is a blunder for Rule Y in the Cope. I can't forgive that. That's why they decided to make it even more brutal for the other world, honestly. I didn't kill you that time, I will kill you this time for sure. My good god. Rule Y is trying to kill Rika with a strong desire to achieve some aim. But she was killed before that, as a result of the unrelated Rule X. That might have caused him to show some disturbance. If Rule Y's objective is simply to bury Rika, then that's not a problem. But if they have some objective beyond that, then that might show up as some other phenomenon. Probably one there's already hints of it so far, but we just can't see it right now. Perhaps the one Higurashi and Miyakoshi chapters have something in common. They're almost practically the same thing. That doesn't happen in the other worlds. Unfortunately, we're Rika Furude, so we don't know what happens to Rika is dead. Because every time fucking Shion dies in the rooftop and around the same time the next day, Keiichi fucking suffers a heart attack. My good god. Or by any chance, do you know what happened? Since I'm Rika Furude, I only know events during Rika's life. Okay, so Rika, please, stop speaking in third person now, okay? You, on the other hand, are a special existence who was born in a superior world. Is there anything that didn't happen in the Wanton Higurashi and Miyakoshi chapters? That happened in all the other worlds after Rika's death? If you know anything, then that must be another truth behind Rule Y. The memories I have here are all mainly about the chaos brought about by Rika's friends. There's Rule X. Okay, I know you're trying to speak in third person to distance yourself from the worlds, but you're still the same Rika then, apparently. Don't make this weird narration thing different. Don't make it weird. Please, my brain's getting confused now. But its foundation in Rule Z, and the obvious hostility common among all worlds, Rule Y, are what I believe to be the true rules governing the stage. If so, Rika's path is a thorny one. She needs to fight Rule Y in order to survive. Unless she defeats it, she has no future past June 1983. Oh, so destroying the environment, which everyone grows hostile to someone whom is technically not even their own fault, just the fact they were just born in the situation then. Oh, I see how it is. And to win her own happiness, she must also beat Rule X to win her friend's safety. So long as that's undefeated, one of Rika's precious friends may be led to tragedy. If that happens, and even should Rika survive, she wouldn't have the happy future she hopes for. I wonder if it's the whole thing just like like even if she just dies, like the whole thing like goes over again. Like, huh. And I'm just wondering, even if like all this is solved, there's the curse not technically lifted. It's mostly just she now has found a way to I guess, live a completely full life, and then when everything just loops back around all over again, honestly, then she just knows how to get out of it. It's just that easy now. The curse isn't necessarily over, but she knows how to make do with it, honestly. But the story seems to be geared to like actually make like with the whole curse thing as well to completely, utterly destroy it. If that happens, and even should Rika survive, she shouldn't have the happy future she hopes for. She may also have to defeat Rule Z. Just sounds like you stop. Why does it keep reversing and unreversing the names? Just as Shion and Nozaki faced it in Miyakashi. So long as Rule Z remains, and even if she escapes in 1983, it's possible another tragedy may lie waiting in 1984. Yeah, basically. It's extremely likely that Rule Z is a breeding ground for Rule X. Hinamizawa's fundamental belief that the Suzuki family is behind everything, that custom that anything can be misconstrued as the curse, may indirectly be the root of all evil here. Yay, I brought it up before, yay. And people are not surprised to see somebody die in the night of wanted Higurashi. The type of thinking is keeping the curse alive in Hinamizawa, where it causes even more tragedy. It's Rule Z reinforcing itself. Oh boy, I'm getting reminded of him, oh god, I can't remember the name of that game. What Remains of Edith Finch. That's another good game that talks about this kind of stuff, honestly. Oh boy, it's so good. Rules X, Y, and Z. There are 3 rules that hunt Rika down the eternal June of 1983. They are all tough obstacles. We didn't even figure out these 3 common rules until recently. Until recently for you? Oh my good gosh. Oh. Were you aware of them? If you were, I'll give you straight A's. Can I just have a B+ instead? I tried so hard in the past to break those rules, but I was never successful. However, a miracle occurred in the Sumi Hiraboshi chapter. Keiichi Maebara was able to recognize a small fragment from another world by chance, and he beat Rule X. I'm trying to think if like there's anything like if William something like he changed himself to think about stuff, or like I'm actually like thinking about it. Technically speaking, like the last installment was actually one where a new scenario came to be, but absolutely, it obviously just paralleled what happened there. Is that like the whole deja vu thing Keiichi maybe had? Like, if I'm trying to think more supernaturally, that's how he got his memory back. Because Miyakashi and Walter Naganashi chapters are like pretty much the same exact scenario, just 2 different perspectives. Honestly, literally, it's not even just 2 different worlds that are slightly different, unless there's like some smaller details which the ending of Miyakashi like showcase them they're different, but from the looks of it, they're practically the same. So there'll be no supernatural trickery there, honestly. But with Reina's like murder spree happening, like similar to with Keiichi's, then he can probably recognize that supernaturally deja vu wise and think that get those memories back. I'm actually wondering if like does Rika actually recognize like does Rika only remember it like as she grows up, or like does she just get born just like knowing all of it? Like, I mean, there's already evidence showing cases like she at some point already like grows up and like already like remembers how to do all this stuff with the whole cooking and cleaning, doing laundry thing that in her mom's diary mentioned before. I'm wondering if like she gets born with all those memories and all that, like like when she's limited by when she's an infant, like the capability of that, or like then literally before before she grows up to be like in the school and honestly all that, like she just learns it right then and there, and just as contend with the whole thing right there as a young age, which oh shit, that's kind of depressing to think about. Just someone who's completely developed just about going through so many fucking traumas and so many different loops and worlds. Keiichi Maebara was able to recognize a small fragment from another world by chance, and he beat Rule X. In the end, Rika was still killed that night by Rule Y, though. But still, 1 rule was defeated. That was a huge leap forward. Rika knew there were 3 common rules among the worlds, but she could never break any of them. Eventually, she gave up and lost interest in the worlds. That's how I was born. However, she's different now. She learned something valuable from Keiichi Maebara. I can now instigate people's memories from all this, so if I just manipulate people to have like getting memories from these certain scenarios and these different other worlds, we can stop all this from happening. Just kidnap Keiichi and everyone else, just to torture them until they remember things, and oh, now you're free. Okay, here you go. You're free now. Now the rules can be broken with a strong enough will to fight. If she can break all 3 rules, Rika will be freed from her eternal prison. She doesn't have much time left, though. Rika's traveled through many worlds. Her physical lifespan is not a problem. Her mental lifespan is getting shorter. Mentally, she's extremely old, and her soul is starting to turn into something different. That's actually intriguing to think about how they overwrite that. In the end, she'll probably lose the ability to experience singular worlds. She's already showing those signs, and eventually her memories in the parallel worlds will mix together, ultimately causing her derangement and the loss of Rika Furdy's soul. Yeah, okay, I can actually see that happening. Oh boy. Then she'll disappear. That means you and I are going to be left in this dark world. We can't have that. No, we can't. We have to have some entertainment, apparently. We're the true demons here, you and I. The fragments of our memories will gradually disappear, and we will be left alone in eternal darkness. Eventually, we will die. Rika Furdy is aware of that. She knows that her mental lifespan is getting shorter and shorter, especially if the same things happen every single time with only slight variations. Yeah, they'll drive anyone crazy. How she managed to do this over just a pure 100 years, almost the same thing happening, with only slightly different things happening, it's beyond me. Hanyo is also losing her powers. Hanyo. She can't rewind through years of time like she used to. Her powers are increased so much that she can barely rewind 1 month at a time. Hanyo, is that actually, is that a god? I guess in Japanese culture, like just maybe, or just like a folktale? Actually, she can only rewind a few weeks. In the next world, she should only have about 2 weeks of time. Rika Furdy is going to try and break all 3 rules in just those 2 weeks. Oh. I wanted to know what's outside the well, so I tried to call my way out from there. I want to know what's outside the well, to continue to climb even when I fell and injured myself. I finally realized, the higher I climb, the more pain I feel when I fall. My curiosity toward the world and my physical pain become equal, and for understood meaning of frog in the well. Yeah, it still ties right in with Rika. Again, those poems, every single one so far. Well, this is a very, very artsy introduction for this installment, I'll give you that much. A solid hour just reminiscing and talking about what the fuck's happened in the installment before we move on. We basically just got Rika's mission statement then. Make sure I'm to defeat, I guess, the environment that's happening in Hinamizawa down. Where everyone is like fearful of Sasuke's family, and the curse of Oyashiro-sama, like the more you believe in it, the very second you stop believing in it, it loses all its power, that type of thing. And also to stop this other person who might just go out of their way to kill them. But since they have a strong enough will by this point, it's only just stopping everyone in I guess their environment from believing the curse. And I guess the whole Sasuke family being shown as the bad guys as well, and about stopping that one person. And making sure all her friends are completely happy, then that's what she considers an absolute win. 100%. That's a big list. It's a very big list. That's probably just going to be what's all going to be in the next installment, honestly. They get the final pieces here, and then execute it all completely entirely in the next one. I felt no gravity in the darkness. I lost all my senses as a result. I banged my head in the floor with a dull thud. Seeing stars behind my eyelids, I curled into a ball while holding my head in pain. Are we dealing with someone else's point of view? Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Rika! Oh, we're in Rika's perspective now, actually. Ooh, that's interesting. Rika! Please say something! I had no idea why I was in this situation, but as soon as I heard their voices from the top of the cliff, I realized I must have fallen. Ah, I remember. I was playing behind the shrine with the rest of the club members. I got too excited and started doing something very dangerous, and then the tree branch broke. That's how I fell off the cliff. My body started to ache all over. I remember how I fell, but I still felt strange for some reason. I can remember what I was doing. No, it was more that I couldn't remember who Rika Fruity was before I fell off the cliff. Disorientation. Oh, ow, 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 ow. I heard Hanyo's panicked voice. Hanyo? Okay, this is a new person. Who the fuck is this? Look, it's a new person! I looked behind me and saw Hanyo standing there with a scared look on her face. Hanyo? Ouch. What just happened? You were playing with everyone and fell off the cliff. Are you okay? I don't care about that, Hanyo. What day is it today? What year and what month is it? I always ask this question first when something like this happens. He finally realized I was asking the same old question. It's just June of 1983. The launch of the Higurashi Festival's next week, so... Oh dear. Sigh. We have that much time left? This is the best we can do. He muttered regretfully. Okay, for the sound of it, like, my first thought is, if, like, she was always around here and no one talks about her, like, just, she fucking, like, fucking Rika is the god, apparently, all throughout this, and like, you're my imaginary friend, don't worry about that, Hanyo, come on, we'll come together and just, fucking drink wine, apparently. You chastise Rika from, drinking, even though, she happens all this so repeatedly, you forgot about it so often, my good god. She muttered something regretfully. It was the middle of June, 1983. If this really was the best she could do, I had no choice. I couldn't complain. I gradually started to remember more things. Ah, yeah, okay, so this is what I was also thinking about before, like, whether she just gets it out of nowhere, or, like... So she just starts remembering, I guess, what happens at certain points, I guess, of, yeah, she, like, every time, like, she gets disorientated, I guess, Huh. If this is the June of 1983, I see. I was killed again. After Reina surrendered to the police, all the classmates were given checkups at the clinic. I didn't get hurt, so I was sent back home until they determined that I had no injuries. So, then what happened? My memory started getting vague from that point on. Oh, okay, so then, the curse is basically just, says, or at least, when you get murdered, murderized, your memory just gets even more fuzzy. Okay. Either curse or memory-wise. A common characteristic of my violent deaths. My life is taken away violently. The memory before death becomes vague with static. It's like a violently ripped roll of toilet paper. The example shouldn't make it easy to understand, even if it's uncouth. That's okay. That's why I have no clear memory of what happened and how I died that night. I only have vague memories. I think someone covered my mouth with a handkerchief or something, and I passed out. That's about the only thing I can remember, and only vaguely. So, like, if that's a common method, then you just basically knocked out from behind and no one can tell. Unless it's like another kid your age, or like someone older, honestly, which is mostly the case, honestly. You can't probably tell, so yay. I'm not even sure if it really happened. Nothing I know for sure is that I was attacked on my way home, or possibly after I got there, and that I was murdered suddenly. I don't know who killed me or how I was killed. I'm glad that I at least don't remember the horrific ending to my life every time it happens. Because of my experiences, I think I now understand why ghosts wander around this world, not knowing that they died so suddenly. If it's a death from a long-lasting illness, people tend to remember that they were sick. They can kind of assume they died after being sick for a long time. If my memory is violently disrupted like mine, it can get quite confusing. Yeah. When I first experienced this, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or not. I even thought that I hit my head hard and lost my memory. I need to organize things before I get too confused. My name is Rika Furude. People look at me in a special way, but that's not a big deal for me, because I am special. All I want is a happy life where I can play around with my best friends. I can't remember how long I've been living just for the sake of obtaining that simple happiness. Hello. Okay, look, it's see-through, so I called right, you're literally just imaginary friend time. Ghosts, gods, let's go. This panic girl here is named Hanyo. I'm the only one who can see her. Perhaps she only exists inside of my head? It's your goddamn subconscious telling you and speaking to you. At any rate, Hanyo's invisible and can generally only interact with me. It'd be a long story if I try to explain Hanyo's existence, so I won't be doing that right now. Right now, you say? But if Hanyo's a completely different entity entirely, that means she should be around and knows who exactly killed you. Then you can refer to them. But if they have the same tied memory, then it can't be helped. Also, they do the little horns. Honestly, I kind of like that. Besides, I don't even know how I should talk about her. She's been there since I was born, and her existence is a natural thing for me. So you really are Oyashiro-sama incarnate. I see. The gods, the demons, the Onis, they were all right. My good god. Please just let me have this. I saw everyone running up the gravel road toward me. They're my important and lovable best friends. Our group's active, boisterous, and we get serious about doing stupid things. I'm never bored when I'm around them. I love them very much. Rika-chan, are you okay? Did you sprain your ankle? Where did you get hurt? Let this old man have a look at it. Meep. Thank you so much. Just got a bump on my head. I think all I got was a bump, at least. My injury wasn't as serious as everyone thought. When you hit your head, you still need to be cautious, even if you're fine for the moment. Yeah, concussions are like that, honestly. You may be fine for a moment, but don't fucking sleep. If you feel you're getting drowsy, go to hospital. That's true. You should get the coach to check you out just in case. That's a good idea. Do you want me to go and get him? Yeah. We'll go ask somebody to use a phone and call him here. At the one phone line that Rika did not cut. You don't need to do that. I'm totally fine. Napa, Hushi. Absolutely not, Rika. You must be cautious. Exactly. Sadako warned me with a stern voice. It really wasn't a big deal, but I decided to nod since Sadako was trying to be generous. And I can see the whole, almost, sort of padded almost disregard for your own life, because what happened almost several times, honestly. Oh boy. It reminds me of the whole thing of, when someone is more, I guess, down their luck, or, more despairful, or just, in a certain sort of way, suicidal, just hates themselves. They, do some bunch of stuff that is, a tiny bit self-sabotaging. I remember seeing someone, put it out of, just not taking care of themselves, or just I guess on an even more smaller scales, put themselves in more uncomfortable situations, not because they can tolerate it, but mostly they can tolerate it, but just they just want to make themselves feel uncomfortable, honestly, even though they can change it quite easily. They just give it up on it. It really wasn't a big deal, but I decided to nod since Sadako was trying to be generous. She wasn't trying to boss me around or anything. She's only saying that because of how much she cares. I've seen before in many different lives that I've been through. I have no doubt that she's really concerned about me. It's not just Sadako. Mion, Reina, Keiichi the same. They're all so nice to me, and they truly do care. Mion let to look for her phone. Reina also left with a towel, looking for the water tap. Sadako remained nearby, taking care of me with a worried face. Just shaking shoulders. Are you still here with us? Don't fall asleep. I'm still wide awake. You're still gonna fucking fall asleep. Stay with us. And Hanyo was just standing there, still wearing a panicked look. Kitty seemed to be panicked too, but he was trying not to show it. He's sitting by me, wearing a calm expression. Are you alright? I'm fine. Doesn't hurt anywhere. I'm glad you're not seriously injured. I was super worried. I wouldn't feel anything special about his words if this was a while ago. But at the moment when Reina took over the classroom, when she hurt Mion, Kitty tried his best to save Reina. Even so, he was more reliable than I ever imagined from his normal behavior. Only then, fucking childish. He's usually an insensitive guy who hurts other people's feelings without noticing, but that's not his true self. He has a secret side. He's willing to sacrifice himself for other people. I was just observing that not too long ago. It's only just the last fucking installment, honestly. Just the last loop. That's why I can honestly feel his generosity now. Now that I think about it, Keiichi gained a memory from another world the previous time around. Is it possible he carries a memory in this world too? If that's the case, I have some hope. Henyo and I are totally powerless. Henyo is only heir to everyone but me, and I'm just a little girl. There's only so much that we can do ourselves. But Keiichi is different. He changed the fate that I had once resigned myself to. He's somebody who may have the power to take me to my unseen future. If I can get Keiichi to understand me, he could be my hero. Perhaps not actually expecting that much out of him. I just want someone to understand my struggle being stuck in this maze. Keiichi? I spoke to him slowly. It had been a while since I felt so nervous. I'd felt this way since I started my endless life in 1983. As a witch, I normally would know what his response would be before even talking to him. I have to remain silent because I already know how pitiful the reply would be. In that case, why are they so nervous now? Huh? Did you call me Rika-chan? I think you gave me a disappointed look before I responded to Keiichi. You were not involved with this. This is my life. Rika... I can tell what Hanya was thinking too. A miracle wasn't going to happen. If miracles do happen, one could have happened many times in my other lives. I've only seen one miracle before. The miracle that Keiichi gave me was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of miracle. Only if it happened again would it be a true miracle. I won't get out of this world just because I rolled 6 in the die once. I can't get out unless I get a miracle that's equivalent to getting 6 in the die 10 times in a row. Or you roll a die once and someone else has to roll 6 the same way in their own hand. And so I rolled 10 dice, wishing that they all turn out to be 6. Keiichi? What is it? Are you hurt anywhere? He looked at me worriedly after I called his name twice. Keiichi, do you remember? I knew how sudden my question was, so I thought he would. He looked at me with a confused face. Huh? What are you talking about? I looked inside his eyes to see his true feelings. He should remember. He should know. Even though he doesn't have their memory, Keiichi experienced it. What is she referring to, Keiichi-san? Did you do something bad to her? You better speak up. Keiichi, do you remember climbing up on the school roof? The school roof? You fucking delinquent! Keiichi-san, you climbed up there? I'm not asking you, Sadako. Shut up. Do you remember, Keiichi? I did? I climbed on the roof? When? You must be mistaken somehow, Rika-chan. Never climbed on the roof, and I don't know how to get up there. Of course you've experienced it in this world yet. Please tell me that you remember. I know you've never been on the roof, but you should still remember doing it. You shouldn't be able to remember it, true, but you actually did once. You should be able to remember it once again. Perhaps you went up there to get a ball or something. Never. Have you been up there, Sadako? Unthinkable. I'll get in such terrible trouble if I did something like that. It's a fun time, though, from the sound of it, though. Go against the fucking rules, then. I bet I better feel really good to take a nap up there. There's no way you'll remember. If miracles could happen that easily, neither of us would be suffering like this. Shut up. I knew that. I knew that he wouldn't remember. Our fate is already set in stone, like a pitiful cicada that dies after the summer festival. Shut up. Aww. I stared at her fiercely, and you realized that she had crossed a line. Yes. Very. This might be a waste of time. The maze we're in might not have an exit. It might be an endless loop without a goal in place. We were trapped in this fate, and fate is bullshit. I thought that Keiichi might be able to get me out of here. What Keiichi saw was truly a miracle. A momentary glimmer. That Keiichi this world doesn't bear that same miracle. All the same, I'm not gonna give up. Last time, too, I gave up on finding destiny. Never do. I realized Reina was beyond salvation, so I bid her farewell and forsook that world. But Keiichi fought and broke the cycle of fate. I should have worked harder with that Keiichi in that world. Well, you weren't expecting that he would suddenly get that, whole entire brain in that entire world, honestly. Maybe, like, stay with Keiichi at the hospital then? Like, just stay around, I guess, around because you knew you were gonna die shortly after? That's the best thing you can do afterwards, but if the gas is gonna happen anyway, then oh boy. I could have broken this endless cycle together with him. Am I gonna repeat this life? Waiting for that miracle to happen again? I mean, the only thing you can think about top of my head for this is related to somehow someone else remembers that fact. This just becomes a point of trying to get better and improve from their own nature. Because what was it? We already had several installments from many characters, like, I guess, address the rest of I guess, flaws or stuff they couldn't pick up on early on. Like, even the second installment with the one to Higurashi chat to them, like, Reina was trying to tell Keiichi from you're being sensitive to Mion, honestly. But he didn't quite get it. And he's technically it's sort of the same way, honestly, with the rest of the chapters even further on. I only then remembered some bits of it, of the first installment. Like, just because of something that happened at the school? Or just because, like, the whole deja vu thing just, like, suddenly remembered right then and there? I can't remember exactly when the whole, like, thinking back to the past and getting reminded of all that stuff happened all over again. I think maybe it was around the time that possibly, like, the earliest time I can think of, honestly, in that last summer that he brings that stuff up is when Reina, like, talks about Keiichi's own secret, honestly. I can't do that. I don't want to repeat the same life anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this world, my fate and everything. I'm tired of getting murdered by destiny. Keiichi showed me a miracle. And he should be able to do the same too. I must fight. I must fight with all my remaining power. I was always fighting. I was fighting when I had more power. I never made it. How can I expect to win this time? Yeah. Still, I must fight. Keiichi taught me that fate can be shattered. I'm gonna fight one more time. Hey, look, it's the intermediary. Oh, that's actually the end of it. Okay, never mind. Tips to my granddaughter. Okay, but this is starting to be interesting then. Breaking the cycle achievement. Let's do this one more time. One more time along the roll of the die. Come on, let's go. All right then. I basically just got the whole rundown of them. If anything like anything, the whole looping thing was just outright confirmed. Okay, it was just confirmed. Okay, you can't lie about it anymore. I swear. I'm sorry for leaving you behind like this. I just need you to understand that I'd rather take my own life than be fearful of how many days I have left to live. That's why I'm writing this letter to you. I can't stand the fear of being unable to leave behind a will while my life is prolonged, even as I lose my consciousness. In the end, there's nothing I can leave behind for you. I was unable to leave any of my achievements to this world. I was forgotten before I was dead. I leave this world a humiliated man, knowing I had no appreciation from anyone. You must do better than me. You must achieve something that your grandfather was never able to achieve. I don't mind what field you choose. You must leave your mark on this world. You must leave behind your achievements. You will eventually die someday. You will eventually turn to ashes. As human being, that's your inevitable fate. But if you achieve a great success, you will live forever even after you depart. Those who live beyond their deaths are called gods. I wish to become one, but I was unable to do so. So in my place, you must become a god someday. No idea exactly who the person writing that down would be referring to, my granddaughter. Like, it must technically be Oreo for the sound of it. Like, that was her first thought here, the whole thing about the grandmother and all that. So, like, she's trying to address it to Shion or me, honestly. So, does that mean, like, just in the sound of this tip alone, instead of, like, Keiichi, I guess, remembering some things, like, it's gonna be, like, Mion or Shion's turn, I guess, remember something like that case? Just the fact that they framed everything else, then most likely, maybe, it's probably more likely Shion? Most probably. Okay. But it's very intriguing now that we're getting a look into Rika's perspective here, and it's gonna be, like, the entire look out from here. Don't actually know how she, like, we're probably just gonna see how, like, her mind works, honestly. most just for how she interacts and maybe her own investigative prowess and just to see what's going on. I mean, she doesn't remember anything that happens when around the time she dies, and from the sound of him, when she does get killed, someone just knocks her out with chloroform, just some medicine, honestly, and just kills her like that right then and there. If none of the other killers get to her first, honestly, maybe Reina or Shion in the case. Besides that, then it's only just one or few other people, honestly, in the world who would ever want to kill her when everyone's like revere against about it. Unless it's someone who's also just if I had to think of like any kind of motive right now, from what little information we have of whoever they are, that's just they probably have some kind of relation to the environment here. Probably just the whole thing of they want the environment of the hysteria and just like the whole paranoia around the curse of every year to end and just kill her, honestly, just to make sure and get it out of the way. But it's making the whole entire cycle just repeat over again, not to their own knowledge. Okay, then. Well, this is gonna be very intriguing going on to see how Rika train evolves and Masada maybe try to invoke and talk more openly, I guess, to everyone else. I mean, from the sound of it, then maybe just because we're just only seeing this small snippet right here, but the sound of it, maybe no. From the sound of it, I was gonna say that she never talked to any of her friends about this, but from the sound of it and the whole miracle thing, why she was so surprised about that, that technically just means that yeah, no, no one definitely remembers him before and anything like that. Eventually, she was even the first few loops around, she tries talking to people about it, they would not remember at all. But with Keiichi suddenly on his own volition remembering other loops, honestly, and her trying to bring up here and not getting the same exact response, this is something new for her. So yeah, she technically tried to talk to all her friends before, but absolutely got nowhere. She gave it a shot to talk to everyone she possibly can to get help, but nothing ended up happening and working in the end, honestly. So yeah, this is taking my idea of what's happening to there's them when feeling powerless to the extreme, honestly. I'm actually super glad they're actually adjusting all this now. I'm so happy. Oh boy. Well, this is gonna be a very interesting, intriguing chapter, honestly, if we're going at Rika's perspective, and I'm curious to see how things go from here. She's probably gonna die by the end of it, but she'll probably learn something very important to take along for the next run through, honestly. That's probably the deciding factor for them, how she'll break the cycle. But I guess we'll figure out to see what Rika probably learns to break the entire never-ending cycle. We'll figure out, maybe, for next time. So, for fun time watches as I am playing this, hope to see you next time, what time that may be, and I hope you fantastic day.